Welcome, everyone, to another Content Profit Show. This is Jeff Herring, your host. And right here with me is somebody famously known as Mentor Mike. Hi, Mike. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. And just so everybody will know the story behind this, we've done this before. I was a guest on your show. And then we were talking about doing another one. And then I saw this article about you have more to monetize than you think, and I went, oh my goodness, I've got to get Mike here about this because this is huge what you've got here, and I love the subtitle monetization, turning something dash tangible or intangible into money. And the first example you give, oh my goodness, come on, the pet rock that both of us know about that and remember it is we're dating ourselves. But the thing I picked up about that, as the way you explained it, was the packaging of it. It was just packaged so well, right?
Yeah.
And you made the analogy to how they package iPhones, which is super good. Tell us about the example you gave about how you saw something different in your own business around copywriting.
Well, all right, Jeff. And by the way, yeah, that pet rock story is a classic, and I think it's almost the one to refer to when looking for how something quite in everyday life uh, can be turned into $1 million, literally, for the guy
Yeah. Oh,
uh,
yeah.
who who marketed and sold pet rocks, a multi-million-dollar idea. This is going
Yeah.
back into the 70s, like you say.
Yeah.
And for our younger viewers, Jeff, who may not be so familiar, that they only have to search the pet rock story and it's all there. But
Oh, yeah.
back
Yeah.
to my own story. And by the way, I really appreciate your invite and thank you. And for our
My
viewers, the
pleasure.
premise behind what we're doing here together, Jeff, as you know, because you've invited me, is finding hidden income streams in
Right.
your own business. That's what
Right.
this is about today. And
Right.
so, Jeff, you've asked me about my own backstory. And so, one of the stories I can share is the short version is I was recovering from severe alcoholism. I was very sick, very depressed, suicidal ideations, and
Wow.
I was unemployable. So I had no income, even if I wanted to. I just couldn't do it. So this is 2009 when I went into treatment, and and it was a solid path, and I was able to come through it, and I'm very grateful and blessed that I've been sober since then. But I was
Congrats.
in that situation, getting my feet back on the ground. I needed money, of course I did,
Yeah.
and my background was marketing, sales, advertising. I had knowledge and I had skills. How could I monetize that in the situation that I was in? Unemployable still, but could I generate my own income? Was there a hidden opportunity to turn what I already knew into something that could bring me income? Now, our viewers, Jeff, may not be looking to totally replace their current income. They may be looking
Right.
for extra income. And so what I did is I thought, all right, what can I do? What's my core skill, my core knowledge? What wisdom have I gained? It was communication, persuasive communication in writing or verbally. And so that's when the idea of copywriting came to mind. And I started looking at copywriting. I started writing. It was woeful to begin with because there's a difference between communicating verbally and then putting it in writing. It's a real art. But
Yes.
anyway, I studied it and I was able to convert that newfound skill into something that quickly brought me income and got me out of the deep hole I was in as far as I was broke. So that's the backstory.
I love it. What a fantastic story. I have a buddy, sir. I forget how many years ago, but he was celebrating 12 years sober. And I was scrolling through Facebook one day or somewhere and saw this mug that said, still sober? Keep that shit up. I went, oh, I got to get that for him. So I got it. And we're in a men's group together where the first thing we do is everybody goes around and checks in where they are on a scale of 1 to 10. Okay, so I got to the guys beforehand. And I said, when it's your time to check in, you're at a 12. And it
I
took
love
about
that.
7 people saying 12 for John to go, all right, you guys. So yeah.
I love that.
Um,
That's
so
great, Jeff.
before we dive into the main event here, which is going to be a demo, kids, so it's going to be really cool. You got me really thinking about creativity, okay? And my favorite definition of creativity fits in what we're talking about, and that's being able to look at something that's always been there and seeing something that's not been sent before, not been
Oh,
seen
yes.
before.
Well,
Okay. Now, here's an example of that that's 45 years old. Okay. 1980, I'm off from home for the first time in grad school at Florida State, living my dreams, something I'd always wanted to do. And my roommate and I got really into jazz and smooth jazz. So we're always playing albums, the things with music on both sides. Um, and we barely had radios that would play the radio when the alarm went off, right? We barely had that. So the thing we're doing right now is like, futuristic Star
mm,
Trek compared to
mm,
there. And so one day I was going to be out, and we've been wondering how we could listen to the music we wanted to first thing in the morning without either of us having to get up, right? Um, and I was setting it up to be gone, and I had a few of those plugs you put in the wall, and then you plug in the lamp so it'll control the time. And I went, wait a minute. So I set it for 7 the next morning, right? And put the needle of the record player on the album right before that song, and so the thing went on at 7, and we woke up to Al Jarreau, and it was two things that had always been there, right? The stereo and this timer thing, and look at that. So now, folks, we could talk forever. We could even
mm,
teach you forever about being able to see and do differently, and being able to look for the hidden income streams in
yeah.
your business. I believe in demo. So what I ran by Mike during the week is let's do a demo, and I'll be the I don't know, the subject, the demo E. I don't know. So Mike, we know each other's business. We've been on each other's shows. He knows mine, from looking at everything, and you guys know mine from because you're here, and for all of Mike's people, you know his. So Mike, looking at content profit systems and my Substack, what am I missing?
All right. So we're going to do a role play.
I
You're the
love it.
client. You're the client, and I'm the mentor. And let's set the role play up, Jeff, if it's okay with you.
I'm
I'm
game.
talking with you as if I don't know what your business is about, other than what I see on your website, which is
Okay.
obviously what I would do if I were working with you for the first time. And for our viewers, let's just set this up a little bit, Jeff, before we dive in
Shoot,
with the
leave it.
questions. We can set it up this way. I've got this written down because I want to get it right. And if you'll excuse me, Jeff, and viewers, for referring to my notes,
It's okay.
most
That's how you get
people,
it right.
yeah, thank you. Most people only see one way to make money, but there are always hidden income angles if you know where to look. So, where do we look? Let's premise this where we're going by recognizing that there are three layers of income. One, there's the obvious.
Right.
Two, there's the overlooked. And three is the uncommon. The obvious,
Ooh,
the overlooked,
looked and
and the
uncommon.
uncommon.
I like that.
And a simple example of those would be the obvious. Well, for you, Jeff, you're selling what you sell and you're getting paid for it. That's an obvious income stream. Another example would be a personal trainer who sells one-on-one training sessions. That's an obvious income stream because you're getting paid for it already. What's overlooked in the example would be the personal trainer doesn't charge for meal plans that they've already created and they share with their clients. That's an overlooked income stream. And
Right.
a third one, the uncommon, and let's give the hint away right away. Let's give the best value right here now, Jeff. It's
Woohoo!
in the uncommon income streams. That's where the money is, and that's where we're going. So, what's an example of an uncommon income stream for our physical trainer? They could set up a niche fitness guide for busy parents. They've niched
Ooh,
their interest
I
and they
love it.
go an inch wide but a mile deep
I'll
rather
deep.
than a mile wide
Yep.
and an inch deep. So let's
Yep.
come to Jeff's business now. Let's so again, I'm the mentor. Jeff's the business owner. I've looked at jeffherring.com as you would expect I would, and in this role play, I'm going to start. Jeff, we're going to start with something very important, and this is important for all of us, and it's a reminder for Jeff and I. Better monetization comes from better understanding of who our audience is. Who are we serving? So, Jeff, who are you serving?
Great question. I help frustrated and confused content creators take their new and existing content and turn it into profitable digital products. And sometimes in 20 minutes or less when they're on the Content Profit Show. I started that back in 22 because my whole journey, very beginning, I started in article marketing, okay, and then I niched up to content marketing, and since then I've been niching down and niching down and niching down. January of 22, I wrote an article about 21 income streams from one article. Okay, it went nuts. And so I did a couple webinars on it, same thing. Did a course on it, same thing. That summer I did the first summer of profit, where people every week learned a new way to turn content into profit. And I did it. I'd always wanted to do this, Mike. In April, I either sold or gave away almost everything I had. One son had gotten married, one son was off at college. Now's the time to do it. Okay. And I kept my a couple pieces of clothing, my laptop, and my dog, who you've already heard bark, and traveled the North Georgia mountains. And I thought, now that's going to add up going to different places. And so I thought, well, let's do this cool thing that'll help them and pay for this summer adventure, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you look at those videos, as I do every now and then to make sure they're still current, I can tell where I was because my background's different, right? And so from that came the Content Profit Show, where I will take someone like you or someone like you in the audience, and you'll give me a piece of content, okay? And I'll take a look at it, and in 20 minutes or less, we've outlined at least one profitable digital product, maybe a whole business, okay? And so that's still going on. There's no way in the world I ever intended to run, what is it now, 35 different people's Substack every day. But that's part of what I do. Because back in August, somebody said, "Hey Jeff, you're getting so into this. Why don't you do this for people?" And thank God for systems, because people go 35. I'm just getting started because there's a system where I get it done every day. And I'm redoing some stuff, creating a new course called the Content Creators Cash Code, which will lead to a membership around that. That's a blending of that training and the done for you on Substack. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Okay,
Maybe
excellent.
a long
So,
nutshell.
no, it was good. It's good value because what I've heard you say is, first of all, keywords, content. Uh, I see on your website that you're advanced, what I would grade you as an advanced uh, business person, marketer, in the way you've packaged what you offer to your target audience. And I heard Substack. And so you're getting leads and potential clients from Substack. And
Very
I
much so.
heard system. So you've got a systemized method of helping and giving your clients solutions to the problems and the pain points they have. Okay, got it.
Got it.
And your most or best selling. So that's the obvious. No. Here's the obvious income stream for Jeff Herring. What's the best selling product or service you have in the last 12 months?
Right now, it's the done for you Substack profit system. A close second is I never intended to become the template guy. but that was my first product online. 21 or no, it was 11 article writing templates. Um, and those things are still around. They've been turned into software. They've been done other stuff. Now I'm doing other templates, Substack templates, and also adding prompts to that. And so, those are the two biggest right now.
Okay. Um, all right, we've got the picture. And if we were doing this rather than a role play, this would be a lot. This would be a lot more expanded. There'd be a lot more.
Sure,
But for the sake of your viewers,
sure.
Jeff, with us, we're going to keep this fairly brief.
Okay, and also for the
Or
sake of what we're doing, I'm not going to take notes because I'm going to go back and listen to this because I want to be
yeah,
focused on you.
yeah. Thank you, Jeff. Yep. So the obvious income streams for you is what we've just covered, and we've got a good understanding. Uh, Now we go to potential overlooked income streams. And so the question is, with what you've got packaged within guidelines, maybe even expressed to new clients in a contract or an agreement form, this is what I do. You may not express specifically what that means you don't do. And that leads us to the question, what are you asked to do by your clients that you do and don't charge for?
Oh my goodness. Um, Lots of questions. Uh, I'll hop on if I do a more than a 3 email exchange with somebody, one of my clients or somebody brand new on Substack. I'll say, well, let's hop on a call, okay? Which is no charge. I started out charging for people to be on the Content Profit Show, but don't do that anymore. So that's something I do a lot that leads to income. What else do I do a lot of? This. I love being live and talking with people. Um, what am I missing? What
So
am I missing
what
about what
part
I'm
of
missing?
that process, Jeff, are you giving away for free?
Jumping on a call with people, answering a lot of questions, um, having them on the Content Profit Show.
Okay. Now, if answering questions and jumping on calls one-on-one is a part of your package, then they're not getting that for free. But if it's something over and above what they and you agreed on what they're getting from your service and your time and your input and your expertise, then that could be an opportunity. I think one of the key words, if our viewers want to write anything down other than what we may have talked about so far, put it in capital letters and bold on a pad somewhere. Opportunity. This is the key word that drives what we're doing as well. We're looking for opportunities, and there may be an opportunity to monetize, to put a fee, to include an add-on fee for extras that you're providing at the moment that you're not. Do you know what this leads us to a question? And I do want to put this to you because I anticipate that some of our viewers, either with us now, Jeff, or watching the replay, maybe even you've got this in the back of your mind, Jeff, is how do we decide what to give away for free and what do we charge for? What would your answer to that be?
Give away the what and the why, and sell the how. And I know that's
And
a
even
bit
your dog agrees.
oversimplified. What's that?
Even your dog agrees.
Yes.
Your dog's
Thank,
getting
thank
in
you,
on
Duke, for your contribution.
the intelligent
He's
dog.
he's sometimes too intelligent. He's Shepherd Husky Wolf, and so hi
All
there, buddy.
right.
Hi there.
Wow.
And so you know, part of the reason I do like I'll do a free call with somebody I don't know from Substack because we've talked back and forth about 3 times, and that usually winds up with them in some kind of program. Okay. Um, what I'm getting from what you've already said, I could certainly do an AMA, ask me anything, and charge for it. I could certainly do a short one-on-one, and actually that's in my plans. I've got a section in my Substack called Doc Content, How to Get Unstuck to Profit. Because I don't know if you know this about my background, but I was a counseling psychologist for 25 years. And
Right.
I don't do that anymore in that form, but you can't not use it. And, you know, we all get stuck on stuff online: procrastination, perfectionism, imposter syndrome, you know. And I've got it set up. I just haven't offered it yet to do one-on-ones, short ones, you know, for a fee. Um, and then, of course, there'd be something else to get into, or maybe do it even in groups. So,
You know, the overlooked income streams, the first place to look, and that's why I've asked you, what are you giving away for free at the moment? Not giving away for free for lead generation, because that's a different
okay,
kettle of fish.
good distinction.
This is service provision after an agreement to engage.
Okay.
And so there's these, and look, anybody who's been involved in client work knows that sometimes give an inch and a mile is expected. And
Oh, yeah.
so uh, we just need to be mindful of that and protect our time. And because these can be time draining, we want to help our clients, and that's why we do what we do, because we're that kind of people.
Right.
And there's no crime committed when we monetize that, not at all. Although, interestingly enough, some people are anti-monetization. Now,
Oh, my gosh. I know. I know.
so this is, we won't go too deep into this, but I do want to bring it up because there may be somebody watching, Jeff, that is just not gelling with any of this. They're anti the idea of monetization, and if the whole world operated on free, that'd be great, but not on this planet.
Nope.
And so,
Duke's
if
got to eat
if
dog food.
we've got bills to pay, Jew's got to eat. Uh, you and I've got to pay for our subscriptions to make us be online with internet. But
Exactly.
I say to those who may be watching who are anti, it's a pretty strong term, anti monetization. If you're not into monetizing, if you're not into being paid for what you do, if you want to write and just for the love of it, that's fine.
Yeah. Cool.
Do that in the sunshine by the beach and get your jollies off. But don't
Yeah.
disparage those of us who want to be paid for our efforts and skills and the training and the investments we've made to develop our skills. That's a bit of a rant, but
That's a really good distinction. And folks, if you're just joining us, it's Jeff Herring and Mentor Mike. Look at all the hearts you're getting for that comment. Woo! And what we're talking about is hidden income streams that you don't notice in your business. And Mike, you divide them into obvious, overlooked, which we've done, and now the
get
unusual
to
or
the interesting one, the uncommon.
uncommon. Okay.
Yeah. So uh, let's get to the uncommon. So first of all, I've got written here, looking at your business through this lens of one thing is there one thing you could stop giving away for free? If we're role playing, if we were engaged in a real client mentor situation, I would prompt you now: is there one thing that you could stop giving away for free, or package it as a paid offer standalone, or a for fee part of what you're already doing? So let's just answer that. Is there something that you can think
Oh,
of?
certainly. And I think the most obvious one is to repackage the, it's called a content profit seat on the content profit show. Because when I started, it was 97 bucks. I started it in August and I got full up into the next year real quick. Um, and I don't even remember why I changed that. But that would be the best one and the easiest one to do,
Yeah,
because it's what I tell people is, you know, if you don't feel like you've gotten twice this much value when we're done, let me know, you know, and I'll gladly refund you. That's never happened because they get an outline of their future, of their either their first or next product, at least, and then potentially a whole empire that they can build. Gee, as I say
fantastic.
that, that does sound worth charging for, doesn't
Oh, doesn't it? You package that, mate,
it?
and and when we're having now, Jeff, there could be someone watching us now who isn't a mentor, who isn't a coach, who isn't an advisor. This could be their overlooked or uncommon opportunity. They
Yeah.
may in the next month, 3 months, 6 months become or set themselves up as an advisor, as a mentor, as a coach, and start getting paid for their wisdom, their knowledge, their experience. I really
Yep.
hope that that's the case. And if somebody's in that situation, but they have this belief that, oh, that's all right for Jeff Herring because, that's all right for Mike Searles because, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. That's a false belief. That's a
Yeah.
blockage
Very false
that
belief.
that can be removed and very easily removed. And that's another topic for another time. Okay, so now we're going to come to uncommon income streams.
You got me
Obvious,
curious
you're
now.
getting paid for what's that?
You got me curious now.
Oh, okay, all right. So I actually do know, Jeff, you're ahead of the game because you've got what you do very well packaged already. You've got your done for you. You've got done for you with extra mentoring, if I understand how you're presenting it correctly. Uh, is there an opportunity? Is there an uncommon opportunity, a hidden potential there? And here's the question: what's a premium version of what you already sell? For example, I do believe it's already there because I see VIP in your copy, but VIP high ticket consulting.
You
Is there an
know,
opportunity?
yes, there is. And I have been toying in the back of my head with the idea of having an invitation only, higher ticket, small group that we would spend a lot of time together, do a small group events. But, as I was talking to one of my long-term clients about it, and she goes, you mean I would just have you in my back pocket whenever I needed you? It's like, okay, if you want to look at it
Bingo.
that way.
Oh, well, that's the perfect segue into helping our audience understand something very important. I'm going to use some very crass language here, so forgive me.
Oh, bring it on,
But
please.
if but if all that was required to lose weight was information, there wouldn't be so many fat people around the world.
Well, yeah, you could walk into a Barnes and Noble or Amazon and you'd be not only lose weight, you'd be completely self-actualized, right?
In every way, you wouldn't
Yeah.
even need Maslow's hierarchy. You could invent a new hierarchy.
Searles hierarchy.
If it's just information that's needed, no. The Jeff's client said, "Wow, does that mean I can have you, Jeff? Not what you do, but you, Jeff, in my
Oh, what a
back
good
pocket."
distinction. I like that.
People aren't buying what you do; they're buying you and how you do it. And that's if you can get that insight, just like you made that point then, that is a breakthrough
That's
because
huge.
that
That's
gets rid of the
enormous.
false belief.
Yeah.
It gets rid of the false belief. Jeff
Yeah.
Herring is Jeff Herring. There's no other Jeff Herring on the planet. There may be other people who help you package information, package content, sell content, make money from content. There are oodles of people who mentor people in doing better things and improving their lot. But there's only one
Yep.
Mike Searles. There's only one mentor Mike with the name Mike Searles. And the audience, you're in that same situation. So could any part of you, this is a key question, and I didn't see this on your website, and it may be something you do, but you don't announce publicly. And then I'm going to give an example, and it's a good example. Could any part of your system be turned into a licensable program for other people to do the same as what you do?
So when you say licensable, you mean teach somebody, they get some kind of they're a certified Jeff Herring method person, and they can go out and use it.
Correct. Spot on.
Why not? I mean, why?
Why not?
Yeah.
So let's ask the question. What what did get his name right? What did Ben Glass do back in 2005? Ben Glass is an attorney in Fairfax, Virginia, specializing in small uh, personal injury claims. And he's a student of someone we both know,
Yes.
Dan Kennedy. And what did Ben Glass do? He started marketing his business so well colleagues, other attorneys started asking him, what are you doing? How do you get these results? He stepped aside and he created something called great legal marketing. Now, look it up online, greatlegalmarketing.com, or go to benglasslaw.com to see how he positions himself to potential legal clients, but then have a look at how he's packaged what he did successfully and now teaches and white labels his method to other attorneys and has done since 2005.
I simply love that for many reasons, one of which is years and years ago when I was in private practice, counseling psych, um, I did a really weird thing. And I like launching new things on my birthday in May. Um, but what they now call damaged care, it was called managed care then, had come along. And everybody, had their income cut by a third that were counselors. And the next year they cut it by another third. And you had to send out this information to these anonymous mental health texts about your clients, and it just felt wrong. So on May 1st, 1996, God, it's almost 30 years ago. Holy crap.
Too long ago.
I decided, you know what? I can do other stuff than this if I have to. I'm going to do it the way I want. And I went completely managed care and insurance free. It was all cash. Okay. And all my colleagues, which there were several, because the capital city of Florida, Tallahassee, multiple universities, there were more, it was teeming in mental health. There were so many people that did what I did. And everybody was telling me, you're going to go out of business, man. And I went, okay, we'll see. Well, less than a year later, just like you said, they were coming to me and saying, how did you do this? Well, so I like that. Because, yeah, this
Yeah.
system could easily be packaged and
It
taught.
could be sold as the Jeff Herring content system, or you could sell it as a white label. So you sell them the package, but they label it as their own. So the Jeff Herring name is never attached to it from their customer's point of view. You could even, if you were that far advanced, you could even franchise it. So uh, these are all different presentations of the same idea. How could you give what you do as a package to somebody else who wants to do something similar, but all of the mistakes have been made, all of the creases have been ironed out, the whole system that works and works well is there in a box. They buy the box, unpackage it, step by step do it, and get the income that you can almost guarantee without guaranteeing it, because there are no guarantees in life.
Right. Here's the thing that's got me super excited. Okay. I'm part of something called North Point Ministries here in the Atlanta area. We go to one of the satellite churches, Brownsbridge, and there's the way they built this place is they said, okay, the last thing Atlanta needs is another church because there's one on every corner, along with a Waffle
Right.
House. Um, what people do need is a church that unchurched people like to go to. Okay. And they've gone way beyond the 9 local ones. They have satellite churches all over the country and all over the world that use the same curriculum, pipe in similar people talking. And I mean, I've gone and spoken a couple places that I didn't know was one of our places. And I walked in, I went, this looks familiar. And so, and one of the things I've learned from being a part of all that, like when I go to hear, especially Andy Stanley speak, Charles Stanley's son, I've got a notebook with 2 sides. One is for the sermon, and then the other is how they did it.
Mm.
And I've been doing that for almost 20 years,
Oh,
never
yeah.
thinking about, I've only thought about doing my stuff that way. I've never thought about packaging it and, here, hey, you in Kansas City, you want to know how to do this? Well, okay.
Yeah.
Dang, this is
That's
good.
great.
You're all right, man. You're
Excuse me
pretty good.
excuse me.
That's okay.
All right. So this is great, Jeff. So what we've done is, so we're going back into the role play here. So this is great, Jeff. What we've identified together is that you have already obvious income streams. We know that because you've got packaged services and products that you do sell, and you've got money in the bank that proves that that works. And so that's an obvious income stream. There may be some overlooked income opportunities. There's that word again. By is there an opportunity to maybe charge for some of the things you're already giving away for free? Not giving away for free as lead generation. That's a different
Right.
story. This is within service delivery in your case. And then are there uncommon, unseen, unrecognised missed opportunities? Could you, in your advanced stage of business, Jeff, possibly do some form of licensing, packaging, and selling it to others in a similar niche? And
Yeah.
you've already had an insight. Now, during a call like this, we only need one insight, just one, to go away with, ponder on, meditate on, think about, pray over, and then taking some action on and getting some movement on it. And the whole world can change. And I've seen it happen. It happened in my own life, as I mentioned earlier on in this call. And so let me just check my notes, Jeff, to make sure I've not missed anything.
Okay. And then we need to start wrapping up. We don't want to keep these people all night
Yeah. Okay. So,
or all
uh,
morning in your case.
yeah. So here in Australia, Melbourne, Australia, we've got 9:30, 6 a.m. on Wednesday, and you're still evening Tuesday.
That's right. What
So
happens later
let's.
tonight?
What's that?
What happens later tonight? You're in the future for us.
I always say to you people on the northern hemisphere, if you want tonight's winning lotto numbers, just give me a ring. But I want 50% because I already know what they are.
It's a
All
deal.
right. Okay. Uh, so yes, I've got written here a bonus to tailoring for writers, since most of our audience here on Substack are going to be writers.
Right.
Uh, for writers who are watching, Jeff, what part of my write this is a question they can ask themselves. What part of my writing business could I package, teach, or automate for extra income? Could you sell behind the scenes insights? You and I are familiar with something copywriters have done, and that is look over my shoulder, and they'll record the screen as they literally type out copy and create copy from a blank screen, but they'll charge a fee for it. That's an uncommon opportunity. And I'll leave it there. I've got other here, but the biggest opportunity for finding hidden income streams for our viewers, Jeff, is in uncommon income streams. And I do believe that's my final notes. I've
I
got more. Uh, three final proof sources, and then I'll hand back to you, the host, Jeff. Russell Brunson sold funnels when everybody else was selling websites. So ClickFunnels in 2014 was launched. He
Yep.
became and his partners became multimillionaires. Tim Ferriss sold a lifestyle design framework instead of a time management book. And Masterclass, if you've seen those Masterclass online, they made celebrity-led education a category all of its own. They created something out of nothing.
I took
And
one of those by Steve Martin. It was amazing.
writing comedy, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And Jeff, thank you for the opportunity to have that role play
Oh,
with you. And I hope
my
that our
pleasure.
viewers have gained some insight from it.
My pleasure. And Mike, thank you. I mean, what a great guest you've been. If you guys agree, give this guy a lot of hearts. Push that little heart button down at the bottom. Because I mean, here they come. Yay! Good job, guys.
That's nice.
Um,
Thank you.
I'm going to fix some dinner and watch this again, and then take notes on it and map out all the things, because there's things that I've done, but I've been at this so long I forget about them, and they could be remonetized. There's things that I haven't done that are like now right here and not undone. So beautiful, folks. If you want to get the link to Mike's article that started all this, how to get in touch with Mike and get on his Substack and on mine, that's going to be in the show notes. Okay. I will either do that tonight or in the morning. I'm leaning towards it coming out in the morning. But anyway, it'll be there. You'll get, you'll get an email about it. You guys are in my community. Okay, so our next show is on the what's today? The 18th is on the 20th. One of my students, and maybe there's something in what I'm about to say, Mike. One of my students and I, who we have similar backgrounds as counselors and helpers, we're going to get on and talk about how what's the title? How content creators can put off procrastination. And so we're going to help them get past that stuck point. But we're splitting whatever comes in, but there's an opportunity in there to have
My
people on
word.
and do things together. Wow.
That's a great example there, Jeff,
Okay.
of how you niched a solution that could be generic. In other words, overcome procrastination, and you've niched it to a specific audience. That's a great tip in itself.
Thank you for that. And folks, just to give you a little incentive to be there, okay, one of my main tips, and you'll get to practice this before your head hits the pillow tonight, because we all get procrastinated, tempted every day, is the next time that you're tempted to procrastinate, simply put it off. Tell yourself, I'm going to do it now and I'll procrastinate later. And if nothing else, folks, you'll be doing what Mike's doing, which is laughing, and it'll loosen you up to get going. Okay. It sounds
Yeah,
silly,
that's
but it
good.
works. And thanks for the hearts. Mike, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to do this again. Everybody that's here, thank you for being here, whether you're live or on the on demand. And where were you if you're on the on demand? Uh, because there's a lot of places you could have been online, and that just gets more and more so every day. You chose to be with Mike and I, and we appreciate it. And all my regular folks know what we're going to do right now. We're going to say, what is it? 4 words, right? Go use this stuff, and we'll catch you next time.